From WXII 12 News, this is breaking news.
Oh, that is the moment when gunshots first rang out at a music festival in Las Vegas late last night. Good morning, everybody. I'm Margaret Johnson.
A really rough way to wake up. I'm Brianna Connor. We're going to keep following that breaking news out of Las Vegas, where a man opened fire on that crowd at the concert.
Yeah, right now, police reporting more than 50 people dead and over 200 hurt, and that makes this the largest mass shooting in modern American history.
Andrew Spencer has the latest on this developing story.
I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
Right now, the shooter has been identified as Stephen Paddock. He's 64 years old from Mesquite, Nevada. That's right outside of Las Vegas. And we know police did charge into that hotel room where he was, and they are the ones who shot him, ending the attack.
And we do know that they have now located the woman that they say was the companion of the shooter. Officials there are now speaking to her. They say this woman, Mary Lou Danley, an Asian female traveling with the suspect, is now a person of interest. Police there also asking for the public's assistance in finding two vehicles connected to that shooting. A Hyundai Tucson with the Nevada license plate number 114B40 and a Chrysler Pacifica touring with the Nevada number 79D401.
And I do want to give you an update. Police in Las Vegas have said they have found those two vehicles along with Mary Lou Danley, who they were searching for this morning. This is a rapidly developing situation. Expect a lot of things to change in just moments. We also want to give you some reaction, people speaking out about what they saw when the shooter began. Take a listen.
We were close to the stage, about 6 rows from the front on the left-hand side, and he was just performing, and then we heard this like loud bang, almost like a glass bottle, like a pop sound, and me and my sister both looked at each other, and then we looked at the girl behind us, and we're all kind of like, what is that, right? Then we heard like a pop, 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 and it was like firecrackers or something, and we're all kind of, I went like this right away. Concert's still going on. Concert's still going, and then we heard like, I've actually got a video of it. We got like the long, like it just carried on, and everybody like went down. And then we got up again, and then the concert ended.
No,
like they left.
No, because to the right of us,
somebody got hurt on the right-hand side of the stage,
and that's when the concert stopped.
And the concert stopped, and they put the floodlights on. And then we heard the gunshots kept on going on. So like seriously, like 20,000 people were just like crouched down.
Well, meanwhile, first responders and police officers in Las Vegas have limited information. The story is continuing to develop about exactly what happened. They did, though, speak earlier this morning about what they know so far.
Through investigation and response, we determined there was a shooter on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay. Officers responded to that location and engaged the suspect at that location. He is dead currently. He has been identified. He is a local resident. I will not release his name at this time. There has been multiple phone calls and accusations or conjecture coming through social media that there's multiple shooters at other resorts. That has been proven to be false. Additionally, there's been accusations or beliefs that there's some explosives going off. That is also false. The only explosive contained in this event was from our SWAT team breaching the room.
And since they released those statements earlier today, they have identified that shooter as Stephen Paddock. And of course, authorities there in Las Vegas are telling us that they will have another update about 8:45 this morning. Meantime, President Trump has gone on Twitter this morning. He wrote, "My warmest condolences and sympathies to the victims and families of the terrible Las Vegas shooting. God bless you."
Jason Aldean is the country music singer who was on stage when the attack happened. He's reacting on Twitter saying, quote, "Tonight's has been beyond horrific. I still don't know what to say, but wanted everyone to know that me and my crew are safe. My thoughts and prayers go out to everyone involved tonight. It hurts my heart that this would happen to anyone who was just coming out to enjoy what should have been a fun night." He added the hashtags heartbroken and stop hate. Of course, we're already seeing emotional reaction to all of this. Several artists took the stage last night. Singer Jake Owen tweeted saying, quote, "Praying for everyone here in Vegas. I witnessed the most unimaginable event tonight. We are okay. Others aren't. Please play." Singer Luke Combs said this, active shooter at Route 91 Harvest in Vegas. "We are safe. Love you guys." We are continuing to follow the latest out of Las Vegas throughout the morning on air and online. For breaking news push alerts, download our WXII 12 News app. It's free for Apple and Google users.
Back in the mid-70s for Tuesday, for Wednesday, more sun Thursday and Friday as highs get close to 80. We stay there through the weekend.
Well, we are continuing to follow that breaking news from Las Vegas, where at least 50 people are now dead and at least 200 people are hurt, and those numbers could grow.
That's right. Joining us now by phone is former FBI agent and current Forsyth County Sheriff Bill Schatzman. Sheriff, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning on this most tragic day.
Yeah, very rough.
Sheriff, if you could talk to us about what it takes to pull something like this off. Would you call it a sophisticated attack?
No, Margaret, I don't believe it is. From the sounds I've listened to on the television, it sounds to me like an individual with a automatic weapon with 30-round magazines. He fires all 30 and then is down for a while and then reloads. To get a automatic weapon today is difficult for a civilian, but it's not impossible.
And let's talk about how we are going to describe this. We don't know a lot. We don't know a motive, but the technical term terrorism, to you, does that fit here?
Well, certainly the folks on scene were terrorized, and you had a mass response by the heroes of the day, the heroic law enforcement and emergency responders. They would respond in such a manner had it been a terrorist attack. We don't know that for certain. We'll determine that. Law enforcement will determine it. Local, state, and federal authorities there will determine the motivations of Mr. Paddock. It could be anything from a fight with his girlfriend to some deep-seated hatred of something that pushed him over the edge on that night. It certainly would appear that he had a plan, or that a plan was afoot, because of the weapons in the room and the amount of ammunition allegedly found by officers. So it looks like he did some pre-planning, but again, to understand his motivation will take some time, but it certainly will be developed.
Sheriff, if you could, we know you're a former FBI man, and the FBI has been called in to assist in this investigation. So what does that look like moving forward? What will they try to determine?
Yes. So every office in the Bureau, FBI Bureau, will be assigned, agents in those offices will be assigned this case to develop any and all information, talk to any and all witnesses and associates of those witnesses, to develop not only the background on Mr. Paddock, but on possible motivations, his associates, from his birth through the 64 alleged years that he's been alive. Again, federal authorities will aid in the forensics. The FBI's forensic teams, mass casualty teams will be on scene along with the state and local authorities, forensics people, to do any and all work to be done. The key to the Bureau is the out-of-state work, the work done in California, Albuquerque, Seattle, New York, Miami, anywhere that information will lead. Agents will be on the ground, and they are on the ground right now at sunup. We'll be conducting those leads. Any leads that would have come to Greensboro or Charlotte when I was involved, or Asheville when I was in those 8 offices, we would be on the ground instantly, early this morning, working to develop information.
All right, Sheriff Schatzman, we do appreciate your insight. Thank you so much. It's 8:12 right now. We're going to take a break and be right back with continuing coverage of this latest American mass shooting.
Brian, thank you. We're staying on top of breaking news in Greensboro. One person is dead after an overnight shooting. Officers found the victim at the Waffle House near the intersection of Randleman Road and Teague Street. This is a live look at the scene. Police have not identified the victim or a suspected shooter just yet. They got a call about it around 3 o'clock this morning, or 3:30. There are still, they say, a lot of unanswered questions. Officers want you to call them if you have any information. Of course, you'll want to stay with us for the latest.
WXII 12 News at 8 on the Triad CW starts right now.
It was a scary time in my life. I thought it was over. I really did.
Right now on the Triad CW, just a day after the deadliest shooting in modern American history, witnesses and first responders now detailing those terrifying moments in Las Vegas. We have the latest this morning.
Plus, there are more questions than answers surrounding the shooter responsible for nearly 60 deaths and hundreds of injuries. What we've learned about Stephen Paddock.
And remembering those lost, the new information coming in about those killed during that massacre. Good Tuesday morning, everybody. I'm Margaret Johnson.
And I'm Brianna Connor. We're going to get to those top news stories in just a moment. But first, we begin with the local weather forecast. Meteorologist Brian Slocum's in the Weather Center with a look at some local temperatures. Brian?
This morning, we are learning more about how many weapons the Las Vegas shooter had at his disposal.
Stephen Paddock had 23 firearms inside his hotel room at the Mandalay Bay. Officials found 19 more at his house in Mesquite, about an hour away from Vegas. And this morning, the man in the hotel room next to Paddock's says he is shaken by this attack. He heard gunshots coming from the Mandalay Bay while he was coming back from dinner. The man says he hid in the bushes outside. This attack happened just 36 hours ago now. Investigators are trying to piece together exactly what happened Sunday night.
Yeah, investigators say there's no clear motive as to what led to the shooting. It all started Sunday night just after 10. Country star Jason Aldean was one of the headliners at the Route 91 Music Festival in Las Vegas. He was on stage when the shooter first sprayed the crowd with bullets.
Officials there say there were at least 22,000 people at the concert. Witnesses say they heard the first gunshots around 10 o'clock.
We have multiple casualties. GSW's at the medical tent. Multiple casualties.
Be advised, it is automatic fire. Fully automatic fire from an elevated position. Take cover.
Officers rushed to the area where the concert was happening, and full SWAT teams closed in on the shooter's hotel room door.
Sit on the suspect's door. I need everybody in that hallway to be aware of it and get back. We need to pop this and see if we get any type of response from this guy to see if he's in here or if he's actually moved out somewhere else.
Copy. All units on the 32nd floor. SWAT has explosive breach. Everyone in the hall needs to move back. All units move back.
Breach, breach, breach.
Well, inside that hotel room, police found the shooter, 64-year-old Stephen Paddock, dead from what officials say was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Later, officers searched through that shooter's home. That's where they found those 19 other firearms, thousands of rounds of ammunition and explosives at his Nevada home.
We are currently standing at 527 for individuals injured, and individuals that have died or passed away, 59.
And this morning, many of those victims are critically hurt. Also, officials are left with more questions and answers about the shooter, Stephen Paddock, who was a mystery even to the people that lived closest to him. Investigators say he lived in a retirement community, but most of his neighbors didn't know him. They say people knew someone lived in the home only because trash cans were taken to the curb. They've heard about the shooting in Las Vegas, but say they didn't know their neighbor was involved until Monday morning. Officials now digging for more clues.
Meanwhile, local law enforcement is weighing in on where this investigation into the shooter goes from here. We spoke with former FBI agent and Forsyth County Sheriff Bill Schatzman about what comes next in an investigation like this.
It's hard to get into someone's mind, of course. That's the challenge. And he's dead. The shooter is dead, so we can't ask him about it. So we'll look for signs, obviously, if he left any writings, the books he was reading in his home or in his car. All of the physical evidence. Crime scene tells a story. Crime scenes always tell stories. It is up to the professionals in law enforcement to understand that story, to read it correctly, to use it in the future to try to prevent incidents like this from happening again.
And this morning, stories are now filtering in about the 59 lives lost during that shooting.
A newlywed protecting his wife, a teacher, a single mom, police officers, and so many more have been lost. NBC's Stephanie Gosk has more on the victims.
Still searching for loved ones and answers.
Heartbreaking.
It sure is. We're going to continue highlighting these lives lost during the shooting. It is important we tell their stories. We're also going to share more brave stories of survival from some of the victims. Also at 8:30 this morning, we are going to talk about gun control, what policymakers on Capitol Hill are saying about creating stricter gun laws. We're going to have a live report from our newsroom in Washington later this morning.
You're watching WXII 12 News on the Triad CW.
Right now on the Triad CW, tracking Tropical Storm Maria. We have continued team coverage this morning. Meteorologist Brian Slocum has the latest track from Maria, and Jared Hill has the latest from the Outer Banks as it brings in high waves, flooding, and dangerous rip currents.
The rides are here and they're going up. We'll tell you what you can expect from this year's Dixie Classic Fair.
Plus a little game of one-on-one. They're busy setting up right now Danny Manning's coaching clinic, and Wake Forest basketball right around the corner this morning. Brianna and I are taking on the demon in a showdown that you don't want to miss. Good morning to you, everybody. I'm Margaret Johnson. Looking forward to that.
I'm Brianna Connor. It's 8:30. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to get right off the top to meteorologist Brian Slocum, who's watching Maria, where it's heading, and hopefully the fact that it's weakening.
Yeah, it's weakened some. It's a strong tropical storm, but is no longer a hurricane. I've been watching this circulation for a while, and different colors that we normally show you. The water vapor imagery tells a pretty good story. Where the brighter colors are, where the storm is most active, northeast quadrant, away from shore, that's good. Where the you kind of see that mustard yellow and brown, that's dry air getting pulled into the storm. In addition to that, we're seeing some wind shear on that side. So that's kind of really helped that side of the storm fall apart somewhat. We're still seeing some showers pivot on shore, and that persistent wind out of the northwest, it's bringing gusts up to 40, will continue to bring in a pretty decent surge. The tide will be coming up through the morning into the early part of the afternoon hours today. I think this is when the Outer Banks is most vulnerable to storm surge, 2 to 4 feet above sea level in those locations. The track is going to turn, and then the storm will rapidly begin to get picked up by the westerly winds that are much stronger in those latitudes and get carried out into the North Atlantic. So just another day or so of wind and some occasional rains across the coast, and they should see some better conditions. But in some cases, the damage has already been done. We'll have much more on this storm coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Thank you very much, Brian. We do appreciate it.
Our Jared Hill is in Nags Head again this morning.
He's continuing our live team coverage from the Outer Banks. Jared, good morning, and how are conditions out there right now?
So the rain let up a little bit. It's kind of a little drizzly right now, but the wind is still blowing. It's been blowing since, well, really the second that we woke up this morning, much stronger than it was yesterday. As we were taking a drive along Highway 12 earlier today, we went a little bit farther south than where we are now. We have some video of that. Overnight, there was a lot of sand on the ground out that way. There's some pretty tall dunes, some sand dunes, and the sand had pretty much just blown across the roadway, across Highway 12, making it tough to really see kind of where the center line was, where the road started and stopped. We ended up turning around a little bit after our drive just because it got to a point where we couldn't even really tell where we were. So that's a big concern tonight. The other big concern, as we have said, is the threat of storm surge, the waves in the water from the ocean washing over onto the roadways, causing possibly 2 to 4 feet of flooding in some of those southern parts of Hatteras as well as Ocracoke Islands. Guys.
Jared, thank you for that update. Remember, you can always download the free WXII 12 News app to follow Tropical Storm Maria. You can watch live radar and get the very latest on recovery efforts in Puerto Rico.
Today, winds could gust near Raleigh toward the coast up to 40 miles per hour, but it could see those gusts exceed 50 miles per hour, and there could be some flooding in areas. And because of that, parts of the coastal areas have been ordered to evacuate, but just a segment of the population. We do have a crew in the Outer Banks. Let's send it out to Jared Hill, who was in Nags Head this morning with more information about how things are looking there. Jared, what have you seen so far this morning?
Well, I'd say within the past 5 or so seconds, the rain picked up again. It's been kind of in and out over the past few hours this morning. One thing that's interesting, not too long ago, we spoke to a guy who lives on Hatteras Island, was coming up north on 12, and he said that water had already started to kind of cover the roadway a little bit. And as the morning goes on, the day goes on, and as high tide comes in, he was saying that water probably will be on 12. That is the huge reason for the mandatory visitor evacuation out there, because they just don't want folks to get stuck, too many people to get stuck on that side without access to any potential things that they might need. Now, earlier yesterday, we got a chance to speak to one guy who said that he's keeping an eye on how this is going. He doesn't think this is going to be too bad, but in case it is, he's already ready to help people that might need it. Take a listen to what he said.
This is nothing, but you know, if the street, if 12 gets cut off, they're going to have some food, so we have it packed up, and you know, if things go bad, then they've got 2 weeks worth of food.
And with this one, we've also seen, you know, a lot of folks kind of heading up north from Hatteras and Ocracoke Islands. Some of them even filling in some of the hotels here more than was expected, I think, by some of the folks that run these hotels in this area. Back to you guys.
Looks really windy out there, Jared. Before we let you go, we know emergency officials were using ferries to help evacuate people. Is that still the case if folks want to get off those islands?
Well, not right now, actually. I think we have a picture of some of that from yesterday. You can take a look there. It says that they were using those ferries to evacuate. I think it was around 700 or so folks. But within the past hour or so, we learned that the Hatteras ferry operations have been suspended right now. Evacuation from Ocracoke suspended because of that. And I think we're actually getting a little bit of a hail out here now, in addition to some of that rain. Yeah. We're definitely getting some hail out here too, but no. So those evacuations, it looks like, are suspended from Ocracoke Islands right now because the ferries just can't deal with the water and just how choppy that water is. That's another concern, both the storm surge as well as the rip currents out there because of Maria being pretty close by.
All right, boy, go get your coat on. Meanwhile, in Puerto Rico, we are getting our first look at some of the worst devastation done by Maria. Take a look at this drone video over some of those areas hit hardest by that storm. Right now, the hunt is on for just the basics like shelter, food, and even clean drinking water. People are using a pipe hooked up to the side of a mountain to fill up for their families. The U.S. military also doing its best to deliver humanitarian aid by air and by sea. Food is also hard to come by. Many people on the island are now coping with food rationing. One supermarket in one of the towns hit hardest by the storm is rationing water and drinks to make sure all customers are served. Store managers even limiting individual purchases to make sure everyone gets food and water and to try and extend the store's inventory. They hope to hold out for a few more weeks until the store is resupplied, but the owner says he's not sure when more stock will arrive because lines of communication are still down.
Well, some new satellite images released by NOAA show the extent of the power outages on the island. Look at this. There are before and after images. The picture on top shows the power grids before Maria hit. Now look at the bottom. You can see the majority of the power on that island is out. The restoration process could take months, and that's the really difficult part. A lot of people here in the Triad want to know how they can help people in Puerto Rico, our fellow Americans.
Yeah, a local woman teamed up with the National Relief Organization to make that happen. Our Janae Lewis is in Greensboro to share the mission that hits close to home.
Reporting in Greensboro, I'm Janae Lewis, WXII 12 News.
Janae, thank you. Next on the Triad CW, a local favorite is headed back to the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds when you and your family can see the Dixie Classic Fair right here in the Triad. The time now is 8:39. You're watching WXII 12 News on the Triad CW. Thank you for staying with us this morning. And right now we're joined by Lynn Mathis, the Assistant Athletic Director of Marketing for Wake Forest Athletics. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. I have talked this up now.
Okay.
So today we're talking about the Danny Manning Women's Clinic set for this weekend. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it comes up Sunday afternoon at 5. It's a great opportunity for ladies in the Triad to get an inside view of our basketball program and get a chance to play, learn some skills on the court from our staff and our team. take pictures with the team. I didn't get led onto the court by this guy over here. We have different stations, strength and conditioning, learn about our travel, all the kind of things you would want to know about the inside workings of our basketball program. We'll give a chance for our ladies in the Triad to see that Sunday afternoon.
All right, so this is all geared towards women like me. So I'm ready.
That's right.
So why is that?
That's right. Well, our program does a lot of giving back, and they really feel like this is a great way to interact really personally with the ladies in the Triad. And two, the proceeds from this go to the Brenner Children's Hospital. So it really is a twofold piece for that. So they give back to the Children's Hospital as well from the proceeds of the event.
All right, so what kind of skills will the women learn?
Well, it may not be the skills you and the deacon do here, but we do some shooting stuff, some dribbling things. They're going to learn some simple plays from the staff too on the court, and then have to go through different stations. And like I said, they'll do some pictures, they'll do all sorts of things, and then there's a social hour at the end of it as well.
All right, so I am getting ready to learn.
Here we go.
Putting that iPad down, sticking in that here. So, all right, got that going. Look, I got my shoes on. I talked to LeBron.
Oh, good.
Yeah, all right. So what am I learning?
You're going to do a little dribbling with the deacon here, I think. All right, let's see the dribbling skills. Okay, there you go. Very nice. Okay.
Take that. All right. What else am I going to do?
The basketball hoop, if you want. We've made a nice makeshift hoop back here in the gray can behind the deacon. So
okay, so I'm going to get.
Would you like to show off your skills too?
Okay, he's going to show me how to shoot.
Show off a little dribbling too, Deacon.
All right. You going to show me how to shoot?
I'll get a little dribbling from the Deacon. There we go. All right.
Whoa! Don't throw it to me yet. Don't throw it to me yet. Don't throw it to me yet. Okay.
And now,
all right. I'm ready now.
Let's see who can shoot here. All right.
All right, so you got to move out the way.
He plays good defense. Oh, that's all right. Good job.
I don't know what happened. That was too far back. Go get it. Don't you think I should try again?
Oh, the Deacon's got you covered right there.
The Deacon's got me
he's
covered.
got you covered.
All right, so I'm supposed to win this.
That's true, you are. Step right. Oh, there we go. Boom, right there. High five.
Right.
Good job. All right.
All right, so this is the kind of stuff that women will learn, right?
Really exciting and interactive, and get a chance to really see the inner workings, like I said, of our basketball program. If you are interested in Wake Forest basketball, this is a great opportunity not only to give back to Brenner, but to really get a chance to see Coach Manning, see our players. I've had a chance to be around them a good bit here recently, and they're just a great group of guys to have a lot of fun.
All right, do you think I could give Steph Curry a run for his money?
Oh, I think so, yeah, absolutely.
And LeBron? I got it, right?
You got it. You got it. Especially if you go at the Deacon like that, you're good right there.
All right, so how would you rate my skills?
I'd say it's a 10.
10?
No question, yeah.
All
you got to come out and join us Sunday.
Who won this contest?
I believe you did.
By what, 40?
40?
Yeah. All right, Brianna, having a lot of fun out here.
Can I rate your skills? Please, 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 please. Margaret, you did very, very well.
We're live now with Lynn Mathis from Wake Forest University Athletics. We're talking about the Danny Manning Women's Clinic kicking off this weekend. So, Lynn, how much does it cost?
Sunday, sorry, how much it costs? It's $32 if you're Wake Forest Baptist or Wake Forest faculty staff, or $40 for the general public.
And where is it?
It's at the Coliseum, and you can register at wakeforestsports.com. You just look for the button.
All right. And so I've been doing really well out here. As you know, I've been playing basketball. I've been beating up on the Deacon, but he's taking it pretty well, hasn't he?
He's a good sport. He's a good sport, yeah.
So you know that Brian said that he thought it was a charge. Oh, there he is.
Oh, wow.
He thought I charged the Deacon. I didn't charge, did I? Yeah. I was just, I was just playing some aggressive basketball, is what I think.
Okay, you did well.
I did, didn't I?
Impressed with you be able to dribble through your legs.
Yeah, look at here.
Good skill.
These are some of the.
Uh-oh.
You know I am
tough. Oh, she throws it over.
Yeah, she did. Another foul.
That is a foul.
You better get out of my way when I'm playing basketball now.
Certainly will.
All right.
Well, that's going to do it for us this morning. I've had fun.
It's been a great morning. See you next.